Docker is a popular container solution allowing you to run several services in isolation from the same Linux box. Docker is a fast-evolving project, and I noticed the version available in the standard repository for my Debian system is rather outdated. So, I decided to install a more recent version of Docker straight from the project repository. And since not everyone is using the same Linux distribution, I will show you in this video how to install Docker Community Edition not only for Debian, but for Ubuntu and CentOS too. Before I started this video, I set up 3 different virtual systems and opened a root session on each of them. The instructions I will show here are largely inspired from the instructions available on the Docker website. I just change a thing or two to make them more consistent across different Linux distributions I will use today. The first thing we will have to do will be to get rid of obsolete versions of Docker potentially installed on the system. The errors you can see here simply means I didn't have Docker previously installed. Then, for the installation process to work, we will need a couple of tools. Since I'm starting from very minimal operating systems, that means in my case, a bunch of packages to download and install. But if you're working on a full-fledged system, there are great chances the package manager will inform you most, if not all, of these tools are already installed. Okay, we are now ready to start the Docker-specific part of the installation process. Like it should always be the case when you install a new software, the Docker packages are cryptographically signed to ensure no one has tampered with them. But to check that signature, you must first import the signing key on your system, which leads to some interesting problem. Since we will download both the package and the key from the same host, if one of them was subverted, the other one was too. So to ensure the GPG key you will install on your system is a genuine one, we will need to check its fingerprint. Keep the value corresponding to your operating system in mind for the moment. We will now download the Docker repository key and display its fingerprint. Hopefully, the expected fingerprint and the actual one will match. If this is not the case, something has gone wrong. And I strongly warn you against continuing the installation process. If the expected fingerprint and the actual one are perfectly matching, and if you trust me, you can now trust that key and install the key and the corresponding repository into your package manager. And finally, after all those setups and verifications, we can now install Docker in the most straightforward way for your Linux distribution. Grab another cup of coffee, and a few minutes later, the latest version of Docker is now available on your system. If you see that message, that means Docker is working properly. And in fact, to display that message, Docker has done a lot of work. If you had any trouble during this installation, please check first you followed every step of the process, and that you didn't make any typo. And if you just can't find the solution, don't forget the comment section. It is there for you.